First question, how does the campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate those who implement strategies in support of the campus vision?
Well, I think we recognize, celebrate, and acknowledge those that are instrumental in I guess extending the campus vision by we do things like recognize them at the staff meetings that we have on Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, once a month, we have staff meetings, and we highlight those individuals and give them an opportunity, to glean for a little bit. And I think it does a lot for the morale, and I think that's going to be another question in the interview process that speaks to the morale piece. But for the most part, a lot of the staff, they get a chance to see their colleagues actually on board with the vision that we have here, and the primary vision of the campus, in addition, more so by the district, is safety. And that's been one of the biggest pushes this year, is the safety of all staff and students. So in addition to that, campus takes pictures of staff and puts those up on the television monitors that we have around the campus, so the kids get a chance to see their teachers, in the limelight. They get a chance to see, what's going on, behind closed doors when they're not here. And we get a chance to ask the teachers, why are you up? I saw your picture up on the flat screen. What was that for? And so the teachers get a chance to kind of expound on, their success, and it gives the kids a sense of appreciation that that the teachers are going above and beyond the call of duty. So I think that's one of the ways that we highlight certain staff being on board with the things that we're trying to accomplish from a vision perspective.
How are these contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and community?
Well, one of the things, like I said in the previous question, is that we take pictures of staff. We have a lot of print. This campus is a print-rich campus, so anywhere you turn the corner, primarily on the main hallway where we have a lot of our students and staff, in addition to the parents that frequent the campus, they get a chance to see our students, blown up in print, and as well as the staff. We also have a marquee outside. I think one of the most prominent things that we've accomplished this year was the state championship game. And out there on the staff, it's a running marquee. It's updated on a regular basis. But the thing that's been pushed a lot and that's celebrated across the district is the fact that we just won the state championship in football. So the community gets a chance to see, our accomplishments. Then with a chance to, frequent our campus here, they get a chance to see those things out there on the marquee. And then for those that do frequent our campus or come to pick up a student or just to stop by to see what we're doing or to meet with an administrator or a counselor or what have you, they get a chance to see those things when they're walking into the building. So we try to make sure that, we have a print-rich environment and that we're highlighting the successes of our students and our staff.
What processes are used in improving morale, which moves the campus toward the realization of the campus vision?
Well, I think some of the processes that are in place that Mr. Bollock has done an extremely good job on is highlighting the accomplishments of not just the students, but also the teachers. He does a good job at, I think the best way to show people that you appreciate them is by feeding them. And so Mr. Bollock does a lot of things like hot dog day, nacho day, Frito pie day, things of that nature for staff. He even allows some businesses. I think we had one time one of the local banks came in, and it was them soliciting their services, but they brought ice cream in, so we did an ice cream social, and staff just came by to see what they were marketing, but also got a chance to get a nice little tub of ice cream with all the toppings and fixtures. So I think that's one of the things that he does a good job as a leader. Also to highlight or to increase the morale of the students. Mr. Bollock does a great job at doing things like slushy parties, cookies. He gave us some tickets. We get tickets every month to give out to students who are doing a phenomenal job, and just to acknowledge them for doing the good on campus or for doing something noble, doing the right thing, or just to increase the self-esteem of a student. So he gives us that leeway to do those type of things. So, but for the most part, like I said, it's across the board. He also does good things at highlighting parents. Parents come up, and to increase the morale of parents who maybe feel intimidated by coming on campus. He makes his environment very welcoming with the personality of the people at the front office. Parents feel a little bit more welcome when they come in as opposed to being intimidated. Some parents don't feel comfortable when they walk on campuses because it doesn't have a welcoming atmosphere. But he does a great job. Everything from the welcome mat, to highlighting the things that the kids do as well as the staff do to increase the morale. So, and that's kudos to Mr. Bollock for being an exceptional leader. He's definitely an out-of-the-box type thinker, and I think the staff and the students know it as well.
How does the campus use initiative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision?
Okay, well, as of recently, and it's not something that we're proud to say, but we failed our intrusion drill, and it's a state-mandated drill that's conducted where we have someone from the outside come in, and we took it as a learning experience. We talked about it with the staff, and we just kind of tightened our perimeters and got everyone on board. And we've been walking around a lot lately since that drill, and we've been checking doors, making sure that teachers are not propping the doors open. We've also went by on some doors that didn't have windows, and we pulled on them, to see how the kids would respond, see if the teacher would open the doors. And the kids are on board as well, to be honest with you. And it's not surprising that everyone wants to be safe, but for the most part, no doors were open. Kids stayed in place. There was no visibility. The teacher couldn't see who was on the outside of the door. No one opened the door. And so there was a huge accomplishment. But I think, sometime in failure we learn, and it's probably one of the best teachers, unfortunately. But it gets kind of, it gets us kind of on in the sense that, we need to be more alert. We need to be more vigilant. We're not as tight as we think we are. So it took that failure to make everyone realize that one of the most important things, if not more important than education, is the safety of everyone. And that's the most important thing for our students and our staff. So we took that, we expressed it to the staff, and the staff has responded, tremendously in a positive way. But it took for us to realize that we weren't, where we wanted to be, and everyone has made some good steps toward in the right direction.
Well, there are recognitions, easy ones, like Teacher of the Year, and there are also occasional peer recognitions and recognitions by administrators during the monthly faculty meetings. But I think most importantly, if you have an innovative vision and you can persuade the administration that it's a good idea, you get the chance to do it. And so that can be a very motivating factor and can initiate some significant changes.
Are there any ideas that you would like to kind of like incorporate in acknowledging teachers or maybe students?
Something that's not already being done.
Yes.
Well, for example, a year earlier, I think it was last year, we had a departmental grant that brought Chromebooks into the department. And while that was celebrated within the department and it was recognized with posters, we didn't get an audience in the larger North Shore community to explain what our idea was, to talk about what we're doing, and to talk about the impact that it's having. So I think an audience, opportunities to explain what we've achieved and perhaps encourage others to follow our example, that would be a good addition to what's already being done.
How are these contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and community?
Well, we've already talked a little bit about that. It can be done through faculty meetings. It can occasionally be done at school assemblies. It can be done with posters or other kinds of celebrations that are around the building. But I think that there are some things that might be added to that. For example, with the Think Through Math, having opportunities to recognize students in situations that are not just in the math classroom, so they get a little more broad acknowledgement among their peers for achievement in terms of numbers of lessons completed, points earned, or level achieved in terms of moving towards mastery of the ninth grade concepts or even beyond. Those kinds of achievements celebrate outside the classroom, make them known to the larger ninth grade community.
How are they actually celebrating or acknowledging students that have completed, a certain number of lessons?
Well, right now we have prizes for different kinds of categories, like this class that has the most points or the class that has the most lessons completed. Later on in the cycle, there'll be some prizes for students who have completed the most points and the most lessons. And some of the outstanding achievements receive certificates at the annual awards ceremonies. I think we're still missing an opportunity for the students who are achieving to provide leadership to the rest of to their peers. So perhaps those who are doing well might become peer tutors in the after-school think through math sessions in the library. That's a good way of giving some additional recognition, one that we don't have now.
Now, as far as the teachers, is there any recognition as far as pushing or motivating the students to complete their lessons?
Mostly it's self-motivation, because those of us who we want to see our students succeed, and so we push ourselves to push our students. So there's a little bit of rivalry going on. We talk a little bit of trash in the hallways, but it's all very informal, and it makes it a little bit more fun. The only tangible reward is that if you get enough students to do the 30 lessons, get a day off at school at the movies with all the students. Take that for what it's worth.
How does the campus use initiative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision?
The campus leadership, that would be the administrators, the specialists, the department chairs, they typically are the thought leaders. So initiatives generally come from those centers. The ones that I'm aware of often have been ideas that were planted as seeds at conferences people have gone to, and they bring back, they talk about them among the leadership teams, and then some of them get rolled out. For example, the one that we're dealing with this year that has us teaching from the power zone and recognizing students. Help me out with that one.
So actually, explain, what do you mean by the power zone?
Oh, that's when you're teaching to the students, you're standing in the middle of the room or moving around so that it's easier for you to make contact with each of the students as they're working. It's not okay, let me walk around and touch every desk and moving away from the board. It's a natural, organic process. Somebody shows something, somebody fidgets a little bit, you can quickly move over there and provide the additional guidance that's required, or the little bit of recognition if they've done well.
How effective is there, how is this measured as being effective with being implemented this year? As far as like test scores, has it been a spike in it, or
do I think well, there are two things in that question. One is, maybe three. One is, how are they monitoring the implementation of the initiative? And that is classroom visits from administrators or from specialists. And that's just sort of a spot check to see if you're making an effort. In terms of how I measure myself, I have a little mental checklist that I've actually written it down on a card, and so at the end of a class, I'll pull the card out and I'll see did I cover the bases, or some things I might do better in the next class period, and that helps. Does it actually make a difference with the student? I think so. I think it does. Especially, it doesn't necessarily work with the students that are the most difficult, who come to class, or come to school not really appreciating what the opportunity is. But the kids who are already prepared to engage and do the work, it keeps them going. It keeps them reassured that they're on the right track. It gives them the additional guidance. I don't think it provides the primary motivation, but it can direct and guide a student who already comes with the motivation.
Since this is a new implemented program for this school year, what kind of feedback have you gotten from the teachers? Do they like it? Is it a little frustrating or difficult?
Well, personally, I like it because it's, I think, made me a better teacher. Of course, this is in combination with new textbook, new audiovisual materials, my own growth. So a number of things are coming together, but I can see a significant increase in my student scores this year. And part of it I would attribute to the new style of classroom interaction that we're being asked to adopt.
Processes are used in improving morale, which moves the campus toward the realization of the campus vision.
Let's see, in addition to the Fundamental 5, which is strongly supported and encouraged in the faculty meetings, a number of the administrators have open door policies, so if you've got something that you want to grumble about in terms of policy or procedure or students or whatever, they'll hear you out and make some suggestions about what you can do to adapt, or sometimes what you can do to try and change the situation. And maybe they'll even, once in a while, step in to intervene to help if it requires a little bit more than a teacher can bring.
Would you say that the majority of the teachers on campus would feel the same way as you would based off the morale?
I'm probably in a small class because I'm significantly older than most of my peers and I've had a career outside of education, so I've seen and done a lot of different things that give me some perspective. And so while there are I have a few hot buttons, some of what gets under some of the other teachers' skins once in a while, that's just ordinary ebb and flow of the workplace, I think. So it doesn't bother me too much.
How do you personally feel about the campus vision being implemented this year, since you have a number of years under your belt with teaching?
A number of years being about 4, yeah. To be quite candid, I don't think I would have a vision statement in front of me of what the goal is for the year. But I think that there is a definite vision that's shared. The use of the Fundamental 5 is an important innovation. I think we are always encouraged to be sensitive to the diversity of our students, the fact that our students come from backgrounds that are not as enriched with educational opportunity or educational aspirations as we've experienced in our own lives. Guidance on how to deal with that situation. That's part of the vision, and I think that's communicated effectively in word and deed every day by the administrators.
Well, thank you, Mr. O, and your perspective.
All right.